What does WWWS mean? I've seen a couple of sites that use WWWS in their domain, for example, www.mint.com and www.whitehouse.government. I'm sure it has something to do with an extra layer of security. What does it mean and what is it used for? Why do only a handful of sites use it?
TLDR. The www and wwws prefixes don't affect the browser's choice of HTTP or HTTPS protocol. A few organizations use wwws. To suggest that HTTPS is supported in a range redirection so that users don't have to type the HTTPS column / protocol specifier. Currently, few organizations think this is worthwhile. There is a trend to drop prefixes like www. In a little more detail. What does WWWS mean? Nothing. It is only a convention. The prefix www is non-functional, it has no effect on the protocol used. However, I believe Tim Berners-Lee, the father of the World Wide Web, used it as a naming convention to indicate an HTTP server, i.e. a World Wide Web server. This helped to distinguish the server name from servers for other information-sharing protocols. E.g., some corporations had servers named ftp.example.com, www.example.com, mail.example.com, or maybe even gopher.example.com and wise.example.com. These prefixes were convenient for network administrators who wished to be able to locate these different services on separate servers. Nowadays, other means of doing this have arisen. It is arguable the hostname prefixes were not convenient to end users. Most web browsers have tried to remove this burden from users by automatically adding http / www.and.com when the user enters single-word attempts at a URL. What is it used for? To suggest that the server may support privacy of data in transit and certification of server identity. A few people have taken to using WWWS as a naming convention for HTTPS servers, i.e. servers that support HTTP over Secure Sockets Layer, SSL. Since the name has no effect on protocols, you can run a HTTPS service on a server named example.com or foo.example.com or anything else. The proponents of the WWWS convention say that WWWS is shorter and easier to type than HTTPS / and they can therefore configure their servers to redirect a HTTP request for a WWWS hostname to an HTTPS URL as a convenience for users who explicitly want to use HTTPS instead of HTTP but who find typing HTTPS / too much of a chore. There are other ways to provide links to a secure version of a site. Most business that needs security, shops, banks, it will automatically redirect users to HTTPS pages without requiring users to type a special prefix to the host name. Why do only a handful of sites use it? Since it has no functional purpose, almost nobody finds it a useful convention. The trend is to drop these prefixes, e.g. look above, superuser.com instead of www.superuser.com. Try visiting these URLs. This URL. Then check which URL shows up in the address bar of your browser.
WWWS and www are subdomains. They have no special meaning to a browser, other than the fact that they are part of a larger domain. HTTP / FTP / and HTTPS / are examples of protocols, which do have special meaning and function.
First of all, we need to distinguish between a protocol and a domain name. HTTP / and HTTPS / denote protocols. The latter indicates that traffic should be encrypted using SSL, but otherwise is still just HTTP /. This is important for certain parts of a website. Anytime you sign into a website, for example, you really ought to see HTTPS as the protocol, really, schema, a portion of the URL. Even any request that might send back cookies should probably use this, hint, that's almost all web browsing you do. On the other hand, www and WWWS are just parts of a domain name. They have no bearing on security at all. That out of the way, There is a relatively recent convention to provision the wwws name such that the base page redirects requests for, or this URL, to, or this URL. The reason for this is convenience. Users will often type a name like www.example.com into their browser address bar. If they explicitly wanted the secure page, they would have to type https://www.example.com into the address bar. Many site administrators want to encourage, but not force, this choice to use the secure page, and so configuring wwws to work this way simply provides a shortcut to make finding the secure page that much easier. However, this is still not that common, and even when it is, there's nothing that forces a site with the wwws to be encrypted. https:// just plain won't work if the encryption isn't there. wwws still would, and so you should still check that a wwws page has the expected protocol.
This URL has some information about what the www prefix is and why it's a little silly in this day and age.
Fianza wordt er urenlang